One Punch Man Chapter 203, the introduction of the Neo Hero leaders who are insanely strong. Now I know a lot of you guys are probably disappointed. We did not get the Empty Void vs. Blast fight, and we're continuing here on this Neo Hero arc. I know a lot of fans are just like got question marks all over the place. What is going on with One and Murata? I'll talk about that at the end of the video. First, let's talk about the chapter because it's still pretty cool. So on the cover, we got Webagaza, who now they're calling Wavy Gaza, which is, I guess, a better translation. And the title of this chapter is The Neo Leaders. So we're going to get introduced to these super powerful Neo Hero leaders. As we remember in the last chapter, Suiryu joined them and they gave him a hero suit, but he broke out of it with just sheer strength. I guess he didn't need it, or maybe he did, and he says to himself, or he says out loud, I can't face Saitama like this. And Metal Bat's like, wait, you know Saitama? And as McCoy states, like me, we gave up on the Hero Association because of their corruption and negligence, and even Sekengar. So McCoy says, right, Sekengar? And yeah, we got Sekengar. He transferred over to the Neo Heroes as well, although he's thinking to himself, don't lump me in with you because you're a corrupt weirdo. And we also got Wild Emperor. He has changed his name because he grew up. So now instead of Child Emperor, he is the Wild Emperor. He has also come to the Neo Hero. And he explains that the model of the Neo Heroes is just superior because the regular Hero Association hires heroes that they can throw into battle immediately, whereas the Neo Heroes really takes their time to train heroes, be more flexible and so forth. And it's just a better system overall. As well as the trainers here at the Neo Heroes are superior. And we see Darkshine show up wearing this new spandex shirt with a star on it. We got Sekengar, Metal Bat, Child Emperor, and now Darkshine all have come over, and Metal Bat's like, geez, you transferred too? Now Darkshine has retired. After he lost to Garo, you know, he still pitched in a little bit in the fight. Saikorochi and the hero executives, I think he came out and he did like one little more thing, but he's realized that he's not as invincible as he thought he was, and after he had his self-esteem shattered by Garo, he just doesn't want to be a hero anymore, but he still wants to train people, and that's what he's going to do. So we hear laughter in the background, and this guy is Ryumon, who says, looks like even someone with no guts can make S-Class, but that's not how it works with the Neo Heroes, so look out, watch out, okay? And that irritates the hell out of Metal Bat. He's like, huh? What'd you say? Like, he's like, you want to go, son? You want to throw hands? And Sekengar unfortunately stops him. A nice little like, comical moment between the two of them. Metal Bat has to kind of, you know, just blow out some steam, but I like this. I think Metal Bat would have kicked his butt, but we actually, I don't think we've really seen Ryumon fight in the webcomic, maybe once, but we'll learn a little bit more about him in this chapter as well. So now we're going to get introduced to some of these hero leaders. The first is Ryumon, boss of the Ryumon Gang, which has 400 members. Although he has been involved in organized crime, from now on he wants to put his violence to good use by doing hero activities. The Ryumon Gang is a force we can rely on under the condition that they're under the Neo Heroes' supervision. And as Ryumon says, I educate those under me with a strong hand, you know? And interestingly, Axel, who is also a Neo Hero leader, says that, you know, past crimes can't be erased. By the way, Axel looks so awesome, dude. Like, my God, what a character design. Like, I could literally just watch a whole anime about him. So sharp and cool, like kind of like Flashy Flash with black hair. Kind of reminds me of Rush from Demon Rush a little bit. So we were introduced to him a while ago, but now we get also introduced to Infel Slave, who's like some sort of religious leader, superhero guy. He's one of the Neo Hero leaders. He's very strong. We've never seen him fight even in the webcomic. He's the founder of the Otherworldly Reincarnation Church, which has significantly increased its number of followers in recent years. They have 3 million followers who worship this guy and support him. We have Zaydatz, who is a very strong but mainly rich leader that was brought in mainly for his money, and he has like a huge fund going towards him, but he said, I allocate most of that budget towards wearing some sort of equipment and armor. So I think, you know, he'll wear probably a hero suit and have some gadgets, maybe like Child Emperor or something like that. And then Webby Gaza, or Wavy Gaza, enters the room. Suiryu pats her on the shoulder, and he's like, I'm pleased to meet you. She's like the Amai Mask of the Neo heroes. She is like an actress, and everybody loves her. And interestingly, something happens here. Suiryu touching her on the shoulder, it burns his hand. And he's like, ow, that's hot. And she says it's from ironing her dress, but I don't think so. I think it has to do with her powers. She has these like fairy magical powers, kind of like can control the elements. But she also here, it says that she had experiments done on her to amplify her hero abilities. After a 6-month hiatus where she endured various human experiments, she has returned as the enhanced human. So she's more of like the Amai Mask, but I think she's like supposed to be maybe as strong as Tatsumaki, although she's not really a psychic, but she can fly and she has like really strong powers. But we know that the Tsukuyomi clan, the god clan, was doing experiments on Tatsumaki because she's an Esper, so maybe it's something similar. It could be the Tsukuyomi tied into this somehow or something else, but I mean, what kind of experiments could make you a S-class hero? I want to know. Child Emperor comes in saying, I always listen to your songs, and Metal Bats asking for an autograph. So yeah, I mean, even Super Alloy Darkshine, you know, he's happy to meet her, and everybody's kind of marking out over Webby Gaza, or Wavy Gaza. And then the final picture we get is of Raiden, who is basically the Darkshine of the Neo heroes, and he's even taller and bigger than Darkshine. And he's like, are you really not gonna fight? I think he was maybe looking forward to a little sparring match there. And that's it. That's the end of the chapter. It was very short. It was only 16 pages. So now let's talk about Murata and One and why they're doing this. Like, why did they amp up this major ninja fight and then tell us they're going to redraw the entire arc and then do that, get back, like make it even better, and then right when we get to the major fight, they just switch the content entirely. And just a total 180 that has thrown off One Punch Man fans, and we all have a lot of questions. So I don't have a definitive answer for you guys, but I have some ideas, and let's jump into that. So we know during Murata's 2-month break that he was not drawing Blast vs. Empty Void because we haven't got it yet. He may have done some pre-planning during that break, maybe did some sketches and some experimentation. If you guys aren't familiar with art and animation, sometimes you do art and it just sucks and you have to redo it. Or if you want to experiment with the animation, or let's say like a difficult body position for a drawing, you don't get it right on the first try every time. And sometimes you can spend a whole week, like with the animation, you could spend a whole week working on animation and just decide it sucks and never show it to the world. I've had literally like 20 of those. And I don't think that the majority of One Punch Man fans are necessarily like angry. Like we're not mad. It's just jarring. Like for the most part, it's just mainly jarring. You amped up this fight so much and everybody was so excited for it. And then you told us you wanted to redo it. And we said, okay, so you redid it, but then you don't give us the fight. You know, you jump into some other characters, and the only real reason why it's bad is you're just losing your momentum. I mean, after the Garo versus Saitama fight out in space, there was so much hype and momentum around One Punch Man. And then we, dove into the next arcs. We had like the Psychic Sisters and, a couple other things before jumping back into this ninja arc with Empty Void and upgrading him to be a god avatar that stole God's power. It's like, holy crap, and we want to see Blast fight. So totally cool with the redraw and the retelling. One of Murata decided that they wanted to make this fight a lot better, and that got fans crazy excited, and myself included. But then once we get to the fight, they don't show us the fight. They show us some 15 pages, a 15-page chapter, and without Saitama and any of the other characters that we want to see. So my main theory as to like why Murata is doing this is that he's just not sure how he wants to do it yet. Basically, he wants to give this fight justice. I don't think he wants to do what the webcomic did with Empty Void. And if it does, after all this hype, and I'm not going to spoil for you like what happens to him, but there's all this hype around this fight between Blast and Empty Void, and then they just like essentially finish it super quick, or we don't get to see it. like fans are going to be pretty upset. 'Cause, I mean, it kind of is like a waste of time. Like we've been sitting here for about 6 months, like waiting for something big to happen in One Punch Man. And it's not like we don't appreciate everything that One Murata do. I mean, my God, dude, you have no idea how much I appreciate it. And I don't want it to seem like I'm complaining. I'm just trying to voice some of the feelings of the One Punch Man community right now. That's all I'm really trying to do. Like my personal feelings are like, it's jarring and it's strange, but like to me, One and Murata are gods, and I will just sit and be happy and watch whatever they produce whenever they release it. Like, you know, I'm not here to judge and criticize and all that stuff because they've given us so much. I'm just here to explain why it's so weird and what might be happening behind the scenes. My main theory is that One and Murata want to give this fight as much justice as the Garo fight got, but in order to do that, it's going to be tough. I mean, you have a character who is able to go outside of reality and attack you. They're trying to, like, you know, kind of create new anime abilities and tropes and dive into this, like, you know, dimensional multiverse attacking. Like they could really go into all sorts of crazy directions with the creativity and the writing here. And I think probably they spent time on their break thinking about it, and maybe they just didn't finish. You know, it happens. Like, you know, I'm an author myself. I write Demon Rush, the manga. You should totally read it. And there's times when, you know, you get writer's block. It's just normal. And if they want to give us something great, but you know, obviously they redrew it, so it wasn't good enough for them the first time. So maybe this time around, their initial ideas just weren't good enough for them. And that's why they're giving us this content with the Neo Heroes that they know has to come at some point anyway. But once One and Murata figure it out on their own terms, they'll give us the greatness. So just hang tight. I mean, I really don't think they're going to do to him what they did in the webcomic. But, you know, if they do, I know a lot of fans are going to be crazy disappointed. It really doesn't make sense. So after all this hype and the redraws, it doesn't make sense if they give him the webcomic treatment. So I don't think they're going to do it. I'm pretty sure that Murata especially, like, he really listens to fans. Like, you can kind of tell even when you watch his live streams and he makes jokes like, you know, Tatsumaki Penti or no Penti. Like he understands the culture and he understands the fans, and he gives us what we want most of the time. And I think that's why it's just so strange that, you know, he's not giving us what we want right now. But I think it's probably that it's just some writer's block and some storyboarding. They want to figure out how to give us the best fight possible. So if that's the case, which I hope it is, just, you know, sit on your hands and wait and be patient, and we'll get greatness very soon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and we'll see you, I guess, in 2 weeks for the next One Punch Man chapter.